afternoon, it's Delicia again. I am here to talk to you about what I like to do to hoop any shirt that I have. Keep in mind, I have a single needle embroidery machine. I have a Babylock Flourish too. And I have, my biggest hoop is approximately, I think it's a 6x10, which is what I used today in the video you'll see next. And what you'll need to do my method, which is maybe not a correct method, I'm sure there are better ways, but you'll need your hoop, your stabilizer of preference. I bought this on Amazon. I'll link it below. This is a cutaway for shirt. You will need your shirt. I use AJ Blanks. The one I'm doing today, as you'll see, is the puff sleeves. I also use a ruler. This is a big one. It's a Cricut one. You will need your pencil. And this is what I use. It's a washable fabric pen. It is the Cricut brand. You can use any kind. An iron or heat press, or just really good finger pressing methods. I also have this ruler just in case. And I do use a couple of pins in my thingy-mabobber. And you will need to have the method I use. I utilize the plastic thing that the hoops come with. So those are the items you need. Obviously you need your embroidery machine and your bobbins, all that stuff, but this is just the method, the items I use for the method that I'm going to show you in today's video. I hope you enjoy it. This should be interesting to say the least, but this, again, keep in mind, this is how I have learned to do it. I kind of taught myself this way. I was using other methods. As you'll see, I talk about it during the video. They just didn't work for me personally. But if you have a method that works good for you, go ahead and leave it down below and we can all share ideas. Because there's not just one good way for one person. There could be multiple ways that work great. And maybe your idea could work better for someone else versus my idea, because I kind of take the long way around this whole thing. So thank you for stopping by, and subscribe, like, leave some comments. Let me know how your day's going, and I will see you next time. Thank you so much. Bye. Good morning. Welcome back if you're coming back. Today I'm going to be showing you how be helpful for story A, how I use my single needle flatbed machine, embroidery machine. I have a Babylock Flourish too, and I'm going to show you how I center my design and hoop it, if you will. I float it. I used to hoop it, but it was a hot mess. I did clean my table. I dusted it and then wiped it down with a wipe. I've been using my hoops for other things and have sprayed adhesive on them. So you can see they are full of gunk. So I'm going to clean them first. Okay, so now that our hoop is cleaned, I am going to put our stabilizer. So I use cutaway stabilizer for my shirts, and I will link this one down below. I just get mine off of Amazon. When I first started last year, I bought this and it has worked, so I haven't changed it much. If I like something, I just kind of keep it. So I will go ahead now. And I have an 8x10 hoop, or not 8x10, sorry, a 6x10. The Babylock Flourish 2 goes up to a 6x10. Okay, so I have this hoop. And I have it, you know, I use my little doily to do that. I grab the sheet that comes with the machines. And I've tried multiple ways to hoop a shirt. this is just, again, what I have found works for me. And I just do all of them very lightly with a regular pencil. You don't want to do it too dark or it can come up on the back of the shirt. And then I grab my ruler, which is hot because it was near my heat press, and then I just gently and lightly go down. So you will have your points here and your line here, and then this is your center. And because of the shirt, what my customer chose, I'm going to be doing it this way. I wish I had a bigger machine, but this is what we have, and this is what we're working with. I print out every single thing that I use. Design, that's the word. I'm gonna say something else, but that's not working, because it shows me my center point. So my center point will meet up with my center point. So what I'm gonna do next is grab my shirt, move this to the side, and I am finding my center. I already heat pressed it to kind of get out all the kinks and wrinkles. I like to do that first. I know some people don't. It's just what works for me. Back down. So I line up the side seam, the bottom. I don't always worry about the corners because sometimes they're just naturally off. Like the whole bottom is naturally off, so I will for sure line these up right here. This is the top of the shirt, and then the armpit seams, I will line those up, and then just smooth it out as best as you can. And then I will carry this over to my heat press and heat press it so that I get this seam here. This is what I'm worried about over here. Okay. So here we have our shirt. Some little bits on it from when I cleaned the hoop. And you can see the center line all the way down. And then I will go, the first thing I do is I'll drag it down, put the armpit on a line, and then I will make sure that from the armpit to the armpit, it's hitting exactly where it should. So it's 14 going across and my center line is at the 7. So I know that this line is centered, even though if you look at the tag, it is definitely not centered, which is totally fine because when the shirt is on, you're not going to be looking at that. So I try not to look at other pieces of the shirt than what I'm looking at. So it looks good all the way down. Then I want to figure out how far down from the top my design is going to start. So this is kind of where I just play around with it a little bit. I typically will, you know, do the finger thing or whatever. And so if you look at it, 5.5 inches down, so it starts about a little bit, it's about 2 inches and a quarter down from the top. Then I'll eyeball it, see if I like it. If I feel like I need to move it up, I will. I like that better, even though it's only minimal. 5 1/4. Okay. But we're doing it this way because this is how it's going to be on our hoop. We're doing it this way. So my center is going to be 5 1/4. Right there. I'm lining up the line with that ironed line I did and my center point. I use the Cricut brand washable fabric pen. This works for me. It might not work for everyone. I just put little dots, and at the end I will use either just water or a Tide pen, and it takes it right out. I have not had any issues on HA blanks or ARB blanks. I'm just going to put a little dot on my center, and then also up at the top, those little points, and then the little points over there. That way when I lay my shirt, I know exactly what I'm looking for. And now I'm flipping it inside out. I know this is a long way to do it, but I do it more quickly when I'm not doing it with people. But I do take my time. So the back is facing me, and so I'm gonna do the center again, but I'm gonna do it more gingerly because I already know where my center is, because I can actually see the, I don't know if you can see it, but I can see the blue lines, or sorry, the blue dots, pardon me. I have a frog in my throat every morning. Woke up late today, so I snoozed my alarm at 4:30 and my body woke me up at 5:30, and I was like, wait, what? I slept in. So there's that. That's what I get for staying up watching the Olympics. Okay. So here I can see my blue dots, and it doesn't matter where you lay right here, because we know that I put the center dots here. So if this is overlapped a little, it really doesn't matter. So sometimes what I do is, if I can't see the line so well, or the dots, I'll go on the back end and mark my points, because I can see them a little, but I want them to be a little bit more clear. And I know this is a lot of work for something that should be fairly simple. But again, I personally want to do it right the first time, instead of, at first I used to waste shirts. I used to do it just like everybody else did it. You know, I see when little Alessia when she had when she was utilizing her single needle machines, she always just, you know, did the shirt, flipped it, put it on, and then her shirts always came out fantastic. Mine didn't do that. 9 times out of 10, mine would come out crooked. So here's my dots. I see that they're all folded on the center, which is great. You can see them there. Well, maybe you can, I don't know. And then what I will do next is spray my hoop. I use the 505 spray, and I use it very little. I've had this for a year, and I barely spray it. So there we are, sprayed. I'm going to take my center point line, which is the one that was 5 1/4 inches down, and line that up with my center dot. And then those other dots I created were, you know, from the where I marked it up and down, I can also see those lines, and I'm putting it on that center line that I created, that light line when I was down there. So I center that and I push it down, And then I go through, and before I push it down, I go into the shirt like a weirdo, and I make sure my center line is exactly, I go in and make sure here that the center line is centered. This side is all good, and it is. And then I flatten that out, and then I kind of give it a little squishy down. I figure the adhesive is kind of like when you put eyelashes on, you know, you want it tacky. You don't want it super wet. You want it a little tacky. Kind of like that. Not that I wear eyelashes anymore, but you keep pushing it down. And make sure the top is hitting on a flatbed machine. You have here, there's like a little bump thing. So I make sure that that's right there. Fully trust the adhesive spray. So I'll go to all four corners or wherever the design is not, because I printed it out so I know exactly where it's gonna go. I can pin down the shirt on the inside so that my needle doesn't hit it. Then all I will do is put in my machine like this, and then as I'm stitching, you know, I'll have the shirt open one section at a time. So you can use a single needle for a lot of things. So that is how I center my shirt. You know, a lot of people do it the other way where you just fold it and find the center and then put it on. But I just find this is just, it works with my type A brain. So there you go. I hope this helped, and thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.